Hey everybody, how you guys doing today? Hey. Today's been a weird lazy day for me, where I woke up and then I've been doing a lot of this. I guess I'm gonna get up and do something. I think I'm gonna get. I'm gonna go to the gym. I've been doing a lot of that. I don't know why. I wouldn't say I'm tired. I just feel out of it. Non-productive Terrell is the usual. It's also the weekend, so that's also a good reason to not give a single fuck about anything. I'm probably gonna review one of the Pokemon films tonight, and that'll be up on the main channel probably tomorrow. I say probably because, as I said, I've been going through lazy day stuff. But just a casual life update. I'm starting the process of going back to school for my bachelor's, and in the process of doing that and getting everything set up with the joy of school is, it kind of put me in the mindset of how people, a lot of people either took breaks from college or went for their associates like I did, or are just having problems finding jobs, and it kind of brought up an interesting thing in my mind, which was the concept of, why didn't you go for your bachelor's from jump, and why didn't you just do this so you wouldn't have to go back to school? And what people kind of have to realize, and this is just my thought process, if you're about to go to college, and also a lot of you are probably graduating, you're either graduating high school or maybe you're graduating college, but whichever it is, the one thing I always want to tell people is that if you're going, if you're just starting college, I would say get an internship while in college. And a lot of people don't want to do that because you already have to do a ridiculous amount of work and time has to be devoted to school by itself, even if you don't have a job and you live on campuses and shit. As soon as that shit's over, you got to go right into a job. But the thing a lot of people don't say when getting a job is that nobody wants to hire a greenhorn. I'm not saying people don't want new blood; they just don't want inexperienced new blood. And even though you may have studied for 4 years for your particular degree, considering half of that was probably spent on classes, was pretty much just an extension of high school, where you were just doing the same core stuff until probably your sophomore or junior year. You aren't doing any core stuff for like 2 years, and they're like, I don't really want to hire somebody who doesn't know anything yet. And obviously, the way you learn is through getting the job. But that's why a lot of jobs nowadays have that stupid, oh, well, you have the bachelor's degree, but we prefer 2 or 3 years worth of experience. And you're sitting there in the back going, how would I have that? How would any college graduate have that unless they were interning while getting the degree? Like, I know for teachers, they have within the last year or so, they have them do a lot of shadowing, so that could be perceived as experience. And even that, because I have a friend who is going to school to be a teacher. He just got his bachelor's, but he says he's probably going to go back to get his, I think it's graduates or masters, I forget which, because he wants to be a principal. He's already gotten offers, but he spent like the last year or two shadowing for his last few years of college, which means he got introduced to schools and how the school life works and that whole system, and he got offers through doing that. But not every job makes you shadow and gives you the opportunity to get a position afterwards. And so for some of those lesser degrees or those uncommon degrees, it's very heavily implied. And I'm going to tell you right now, intern. If you ain't got if you in your junior year of fucking college and you haven't started shadowing, or you don't know that's going to be a part of your curriculum by the time you get your degree, start doing that, because not having any actual work experience is going to bite you in the ass. It's such a stupid thing, but it is a thing that happens, and that's you have to deal with. Um, and to kind of give you my interpretation of why I decided to go for associates, and why I didn't get my bachelor's straight out. Because my initial when I turned 18 and I got my high school diploma, that following fall I went for my computer science bachelor's degree, and I did about 2 years of that. But I didn't really understand. I was never really fully explained how college works, so I didn't understand that For one, if you don't take summer classes, you aren't graduating in 4 years. I don't think that's possible. If you're doing like base full time, which is about 12 hours worth of classes within the semester, I can't see you graduating in 4 years. You're probably going to graduate in 5 if you skip summer. That's the first thing. If you want to graduate in 4 years, take summer classes. There's no, especially because depending on the school, certain schools are like, oh well, we don't offer this class only in the summer. Take the fucking summer class. Also, it'll just help in the long run to graduate earlier and quicker. That's the first thing. Take summer classes. The second thing is that they don't explain to me. They never explained to me personally when I started that the first few years of your college courses were literally just going to be extensions of high school. You know, another math, another English, another fucking science, the same shit, and then you wouldn't start taking classes towards your core until later, like within like your junior year of fucking college, which is a fucking pain in the ass. Also, don't always trust your fucking advisor. Your advisor, you understand, college's game is to make money off of you. And if you're someone who has a student loan, they're trying to keep you in college as long as possible. So, even though you might be required to take 12 hours to be considered full-time, they'll fucking say, oh, well, here's like one class you can take. And because you don't fucking know any better, you'll just take that one class and then be like, man, why aren't I graduating in this 4th year? Oh, well, that's because you're about 60 credits behind. And you're like, how was I 60 credits behind? I took all the classes I told you to. You told me to. I said, yeah, but you still need 60 more credits. And you're like, well, son of a bitch. Don't always listen to your advisor in the sense of how many classes you should take. Because they're intentional. Some of them will intentionally make you take less classes so you're in college longer. And let's be honest, no one wants to be in a school system long. And no one. You might like aspects of school, but you don't like the entire school experience. But no one, I don't know anyone who likes the entire school experience. They just like aspects of the school experience. If that. Some don't even like that. So that's one thing. But when I started, I went for my core classes and I did that. And I just remember getting to like when I first started taking classes towards my actual degree, classes were bad. Like, the dude, I hate when they do this. They always give me professors who, for one, I'm going for a computer degree, and half my fucking, in the computer course, it was Java. That was one of the first computer courses I took was like Java and HTML. I took Java, and I'm sitting there going, we're in Java class, there's computers in front of us, and we're writing down notes. We didn't even start doing programming shit until like halfway through the fucking semester, and I'm like, oh no. Oh no, also just where I was in my life, I was like, realistically, I need a job quick, and I have to be in school for at least another 2 to 3 years before I would actually get my degree. I ain't got that kind of fucking time. So I switched to another college, and I got my associates in computer programming, which I do not regret. There are aspects, I would say I regret it in some ways, but honestly, as an overall experience, I don't regret the decision I made. Because as soon as I got my fucking degree, not even a year later, I got my job. The job I'm working now, which requires an associate's, I got. And if I was still, and so now I have about going on 2 years of experience. So when I get my bachelor's, within the next 2 years probably, because I got to transfer a lot of my credits from both of the schools I went to, I will not only have my bachelor's, but I will have probably at that point almost 4 years experience of working in an IT-related position that was required for me to have an IT degree in, which allows me to just kind of jump into a normal job instead of this bullshit where I know a lot of my friends or just fucking classmates who got their degrees and now just kind of like, fuck, I can't find a job. Fuck, you ain't got no experience. I guess you better intern for a little while, and then they got to do these bullshit ass interning jobs while working another job that has anything to do with a degree. Like, the whole point of college in my mind was to get the degree, to get a job, so I wouldn't have to do the working at JCPenney's or working at McDonald's or working at Toys R Us or working at Walmart. If I'm going out of college and I still see classmates of mine working those jobs out of college with their degrees in hand, shit, the system don't fucking work, and there's problems with the system. Now, some of you may be able to just jump into a job, and that's because of either connections of people and connections you made throughout school, or maybe connections you made throughout the part-time job. Maybe you were working during school. Not everybody has that fucking luxury or that, or is in that good graces to kind of fall into that. And some people are just gonna have their parents. Their parents are gonna be like, "You gonna work for me after college?" Well, fuck. Of course, that dude doesn't have to try. Fucking his dad is covering him his entire childhood. That's why I never understood when people always want to whine and complain about. I used to be the guy to be like, I can't live in this house longer than maybe my early 20s, and I'm going on 25 this year in like another month or so. And it's like I'm still here, and you know I'm not as down on it, but it's not because of my particular position, but because of other people I know. I know people. There are way too many people that are around my age, if not older, who still live at home, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? And then you realize that, oh, because these people can't find fucking jobs, and it's not even like finding jobs; it's finding jobs that support themselves. It's bullshit that I'm still in a society where having a full-time job, shut up, phone. Having a full-time job does not equate to having enough money to live. That's the truth of the matter now. A full-time job nowadays does not equate to I can live by myself on this full-time job. It just means now that you have benefits and you're making more than the average person. Because my full-time job doesn't fucking pay. Well, it could, but it's like scraping the bottom of the barrel kind of shit. It's like, I'm full-time, I have enough. I have a fucking coworker who makes less than me, who legitimately could not afford to live off of his fucking check if it wasn't for some life conveniences. AKA, he already has a house that's paid off for, family related, but still, he has a house that's paid out for. He lives by himself. He doesn't have any extra shit he has to pay for other than, you know, the normal taxes and living expenses. But if the dude was like someone my age and didn't have a home and had to pay for like an apartment on top of everything else, dude, he couldn't live off his check. And that's a full-time position that he can't live off of. And I've noticed there's a lot of full-time jobs that are like that. And I'm like, dude, this is fucking ridiculous. So I don't regret going for my associates first. If anything, because as I said, I'll be covered experience-wise and degree-wise, and I don't really care about getting a master's. I'm not the kind of guy who... I'm not going to say I'm not the kind of guy who doesn't want to own his own business. It's just that there's nothing I want to do that requires me having a master's. And considering how much financial debt you get in just to getting a bachelor's, it's like, dude, nobody ain't got that kind of money. Because the whole idea behind that whole system in the first place is that you take out the loan, you get your bachelor's, you get a high-paying job, and use that high-paying job to pay off your fucking loan. The problem is usually you have a very small window before the bills start coming, and it's like, dude, you're fucked. You're fucked. Because if you don't find a job that can support your living like a normal lifestyle for you, a standard lifestyle for someone of your age, on top of the loan shit, you're fucked. You're fucked. And then your credit's completely trashed, and now you're sitting there in the ditch. Like, man. Which is why partially I believe that depending on how well off your parents are, depends on how well off you are in the beginning of your life. Because your parents can save you from a whole bunch of bull. I've learned this just through interactions with other people. Because to me, I'm not well off. My family is not well off. The problems I've had could have been easily avoided if my parents were well off. But that's also banking on your parents bailing you out. Which that also depends on whether your parents are willing to do that for you. It's an interesting situation. But it was just something that was rolling through my head while I was working on the school shit. And hopefully now I'm going to be productive and do something else today instead of lay down like I'm fearing I'm about to do after I upload this video. But anyone that has their own college thoughts and opinions, please leave them in the comment section below. This has been the Vlogs Again from your boy Terrell, and I will catch you all later. Peace.